All right. We are live in theory. Tim,
Morning.
good morning.
Morning,
Good
Kelly.
morning. I love the black background. I love the black sodaware. You were telling me that you did that some time back and it looks really good.
Yeah, just trying to pop off the screen, represent this morning.
You might have a second career as graphic designer at some future point.
That would be scary, but
Hey, you pulled it off. Um, Last week we were at the HFMA conference and I heard a lot about SaaS products and some about on-prem products. And I know our cash reconciliation product started as an on-prem product, and many of the large systems still prefer on-prem. Are you seeing willingness to go to the cloud yet with and we do have a SaaS product, obviously, and that's growing. So there must be
yeah.
some.
Yeah, I think there's a combination of factors that are driving things in that direction. One, I think there's more comfort with the security of information in the cloud. I think that's become a lot more prevalent within the industry. And second, I think there's a desire for organizations to not have to maintain the infrastructure that's associated with hosting an on-prem solution. They'd rather outsource that responsibility to the vendor. And so I think there will be more demand for us to provide the same functionality, the same tools in a cloud environment.
And how many people are using Amazon and Azure? Would you say that 90 something percent of the hospitals and clinics at this point have a cloud solution of some sort in the building?
Yeah, I would expect so with as many third-party tools as they're using, or even with their EMR, having an off-prem or hosted cloud-based solution is a lot more prevalent. So I'd be surprised if there are many of our clients who don't at least have some of their tools hosted offsite.
When people are using our cash reconciliation product in the cloud, do they get similar functionality, almost the same, somewhat different? Like how close is it?
Yeah, the objectives are the same. Between the two product lines, Cars versus Bean, where the UI is a bit different. But the core functionality that we want to provide, the value points, the benefits, the automation is similar between the two products. And really the difference is with the cloud solution, obviously hosted off-prem, more of a multi-tenant environment, but fully supported by our SOC 2 compliance annual audit process. And so the infrastructure is different, but we'd like to provide the same level of functionality, same value, same level of ROI as the on-prem solution.
The SaaS product is working with Epic or Cerner or any of that, whatever your EMR is, and it's still doing the three-way reconciliation between General Ledger, your bank, and all your internal systems. Is that right?
That's right. Outside of the UI differences, just because they're two different product bases, the exchange of data is a little different, in terms of getting data into the cloud versus SFTP, or we have what we call the aggregator utility that sits on the client. Otherwise, yeah, the data that's being used and leveraged, again, the automation and the tools that are being provided are very similar.
Can a can a smaller health system that doesn't want to go through a more expensive integration, data transfer, can they take the SaaS-based product and just turn it on, and will they get value from that, or should they expect 2 weeks or 4 weeks or 6 weeks of working with our team to make sure all the connection points are made and there's some familiarity with it?
There'll definitely be some configuration, again, to make sure that as far as data input, data output, that the system is lining up with those data providers, their banks, their payment processors. And so there'll be some time involved with just data acquisition, and then configuring the system to their unique workflows, making sure that we're interfacing with their EMR, their ERP. But definitely the ramp up time from kickoff to go live is a bit less with the SaaS solution, as we can do a lot of that configuration internally without needing to coordinate with internal IT resources at the client, or working through their infrastructure needs.
How involved does IT get? Does IT have to be involved and allocate a resource to finance to get this done, or is it not requiring much IT these days?
Yeah, on the SaaS side, it's certainly more minimal. Again, mostly involved in those data exchanges, making sure that we're able to, as I mentioned, install that aggregator utility locally, make sure that we're getting the files delivered appropriately. But then at that point, it's pretty hands off. With the on-prem solution, there's a little more involved in terms of carving out and creating the infrastructure, the server instances that exist at the client. But we try to be minimally impactful to those IT resources as we know that their time is valuable and resources are thin.
As time goes on after that initial implementation, and what is that? Is that usually 4 to 8 weeks for the initial implementation?
It can vary. I would say probably 2 to 4 months on average. And after the initial installation, there is again very minimal support needed. Only troubleshooting again if there's a data issue. If files and data aren't present as expected, there might be some troubleshooting occasionally, but it's mostly hands-off.
It is, and including for IT, if IT is
Yes.
allocating, that's who we're talking about is
Yeah. No, no,
hand.
we really try to fly as much under the radar as we can to not draw on those resources.
And how much is there typically within finance a person who is the power user, or there's a couple of power users who then become the the mentors for people as they're getting out of the system, or how does that work?
Yeah, that's a great question. So between finance and rev cycle, it's typically a shared responsibility. We refer to those folks as our balancing analysts, and they're helping to accomplish a couple things. One, as the organization changes, grows, maybe adds new clinics, new hospitals, potentially through acquisition, they're able to do what they need to do to maintain and configure the system through that growth. But they're also kind of playing traffic cop to make sure that the data that's expected each day has arrived. They're monitoring the system logs to make sure that everything's moving through as efficiently as expected.
Okay. Okay. And um how long do you anticipate, is it the support and maintenance goes on as long as the customer wants? Is that the common model?
Yeah, that's correct. Once we install, whether it's cars or Beanware, we have an ongoing support maintenance agreement that covers not just the technical infrastructure, making sure that we're delivering enhancements, any bug fixes that might be needed. We're also at the elbow consulting with those clients to make sure that they're getting what they need out of the system, they're maximizing their ROI, and that stays throughout the life of the product.
And I've heard this term before about being very closely connected to the customer. Are all the people working in customer service and on the Cars Beanware Sodaware team, are they in the US or are they offshore, or a mix, or
We try to keep everyone local. And in fact, we do keep everyone local right here in the Midwest. And so that support doesn't change. And I think another thing that we try to make sure that our clients enjoy is that same, not only the same level of service from kickoff to go live to beyond support maintenance, but the same personnel that they worked with to implement the product is the same personnel that's left behind to do that day-to-day support. So these are people that are very immersed in their day-to-day processes. They understand how the organization works. They've made deep connections with the people using the software. And so we like to offer that white glove service, not just through implementation, but beyond the entire support of the product.
excellent. Well, that is great, Tim. Thanks so much for your time this morning. And uh, for anyone else out there, if you have questions, of course, you can go to sodaware.com and get Tim's phone number or anybody else's phone number. And thank you for listening to the vodcast.
Thanks for catching up, Kelly. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too.